Yeah, so just today he dropped a new single. Today is the 18th of August, by the way.
Yeah, it actually was. It was a cover to "Star Shopping," which was my favorite song by Little Peep. So I remixed that and kind of made like a little cover to it. So it's on SoundCloud. You guys can find it at Lil Fonzo on SoundCloud. It should be there.
Cool. How long have you been doing music, like in general?
I've been doing music for about a year now, almost a year and like 4 months. But I recently kind of restarted maybe like 4 months ago.
What got you into it in the first place?
I've always been into music, I guess. I played the guitar when I was little, and I took piano in high school, and I was super into music, but I never thought that I would be able to create it. And then I guess I went through a breakup, and I ended up writing a rap. And one of my friends was a rapper, so I ended up going to a recording studio, and I just recorded it. I didn't even want to, like release it. Yeah. And then I kind of just put it out there, and it got like 2,000 views in like a week. And I was like, wow, all right. So then I started doing it.
Yeah, on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So did you ever have like any similar you mentioned like doing like a bit of music as a kid. Did you have like any aspirations maybe that you gave up on back then?
When I was little, I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, like badly. But I guess I outgrew it. When I hit high school, I just kind of stopped, and then I got a job, and life became hectic, so I stopped skating.
Yeah. So before music, like, did you make any art at all? 'Cause
I actually was on the poetry team freshman year of high school, and I was super into art. My dream school was RISD for architecture, but I couldn't afford it, so that didn't work out.
I definitely feel that. Yeah, so the kind of music you make, is there like something consistent, like you mentioned in Breakup? Is there like a consistent theme with them, or is it just like stuff you like, or?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that I think, like I grew up, my parents listened to like heavy metal and stuff. So I listened to a lot of heavy metal growing up, like Pantera and Megadeth and stuff. And then when I hit high school, I started listening to like my own stuff. I started getting into like X and Peep and like, so now it's kind of like I put all that together, and it's such a weird vibe, but a lot of my music does talk about like drugs, and it's like a kind of like a rock, like a punk rock rap.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there like something like about your music that's like you, like no one else can replicate it? It's like basically your unique flair.
For sure, around here, I think I get into a lot of emotional stuff with like I said, like drug abuse and stuff, and relationship, and talk about like feelings. And I know for sure that a lot of people actually don't like that stuff around here because they think it's like soft music, but it's definitely different from Providence scene of like trap drill a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone here that makes music is either trying to be from like Chicago or Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for sure, it's a little bit different. There's not too much of an underground scene for like emo punk, but.
Do you make any like I've seen that like earlier today I like scrolled through your Insta and saw you had like a few singles you talked about. Do you have any albums that you either have made or plan to?
So I did make an album. It was right after I erased all my music, and I built my own studio, and I had like this shitty mic and like a laptop, and I recorded this whole album in like 2 days. I made like 4 or 5 songs, but I ended up deleting it because I was so excited I dropped it, and it all sounded so bad. So yeah, I ended up actually deleting a whole year of music that I was going to the studio and recording before I had my own studio, and I just wanted to be able to have my own stuff that I made completely 100%. So I ended up deleting a year's worth of music. It was like 20 songs.
Do you you mentioned your own studio a lot. Like, what's it like? I believe you mentioned it was a bit high. You sounded like, from what you mentioned before we started recording, you sounded like it was high tech.
I wouldn't call it high tech, but it definitely has some money into it. It has about $2,000. The laptop I use is a gaming laptop, which I don't game on it, but its processing is pretty nice. So I use that, my laptop, and then I just bought like a $350 condenser mic. So I was using a USB mic, which was like a streaming mic, which didn't cut out any low frequencies or compress any of the sounds. And now, so I've upgraded. Now I have that condenser mic, I have an interface, I have FL Studios, which I bought the producer, which was like $800 for the whole thing. So I use that. I got a pretty good setup. Hopefully in the future I plan on knocking a wall out in my room. I have like a closet, but someone built it into like a bookshelf. I'm gonna knock that back out, rebuild it into a closet, and then soundproof the whole thing.
Cool. Yeah. Do you have any like particular inspirations, maybe one or several people who like you looked up to as musicians, or like not even necessarily musicians, but like that made you like do your own craft now? Like you mentioned X and Peep.
Definitely Peep. That's actually what the song I dropped today was, a cover for Peep. And then X was a big one, but to be honest, I didn't start listening to him until after he died. And Peep, definitely, I feel like I've loved him since day one.
Yeah.
A lot of rock. I have a lot of rock bands, you know. I really like Five Finger Death Punch. I really like Godsmack. I listen to other artists a little different that a lot of people don't know. Like, a lot of people know Shiloh Dynasty. I listen to him. There's a few artists on SoundCloud. They're so small, I wouldn't count them as inspirations, but yeah. I will listen to them at night, and they'll definitely inspire me song-wise when I'm ready to create.
Yeah. So to get into this newest song, like in particular, like what's this about?
It's a lot about a breakup. It's about I made it the same lyrics as his, with just a little bit of a twist, and definitely the song's about kind of just drifting away from not being ready. You know, you gotta like focus on yourself, and I feel that I've definitely been in relationships that fell apart just because it was bad timing with the right person.
Yeah. So
for sure, definitely, you know, like one of the lines is, I know that I'm not what you want me to be, give me some time and I'll work on it. You know what I mean? Like for sure, that's definitely the whole theme of the song, is just kind of, you got to focus on yourself, and when you're going through a drug abuse situation, you're working on your music and trying to get into a good spot, then definitely that's the whole theme of the song. Yeah,
if there's someone else who's trying to get into some kind of music scene like you are, what would you say to them?
It's hard. It's slow. I've been doing this for a year and a half. There was a time where I could get 2,000 views to 10,000 views on a song when I first started, because everyone was like, wow, this guy, but it slows down, and then it goes dead, and then it'll start back up, and then you'll get another 10K on a song, and it'll slow back down again, you'll get 30 views on a song. And a lot of people start to quit when they get that slowdown, but honestly, you know, keep going. And I think a lot of things I see local artists do in the area is they get those 1,000 views and they think they're ready for Hollywood, and they'll shame everyone around them. Keep your connections close. Don't shun everyone around you, because you're all working for the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly.
There's going to be a time where those people have views, and there's going to be a time when you have views.
Yeah.
So definitely don't shut them down, because they can shut you down when they're up.
Yeah. I know there's some stuff I could have asked that I didn't. Is there like something you really want to say that like I didn't think to ask?
Not really, no. I think we've covered the music part for sure.
It doesn't have to focus on that. You want to say hi to your friends?
Shout out Brandon, Young Dyson on Instagram. Shout out Young Sammy. Shout out Numa. That's the hottest artist from at least Northern Rhode Island for sure. Shout out Unzi. Shout out all of them. We all make the same kind of music. We're all kind of trying to achieve the same thing and just working hard, you know. There's definitely a lot of artists that think they're putting in work, but when you work as hard as the artists I've just mentioned and as hard as me, you know, I'm at least 10 grand in to making music just in studio time and promotions and buying beats and my equipment, you know. And I heard another person on Snapchat talking. They said, oh, you can't tell me that song was trash because I wrote it in 30 minutes before we went to the studio. But you know what I mean? Like, you can't complain about writing a song in 30 minutes before you go to the studio because as an artist, you should be spending a week on a song and listening to it 200 times and rewriting it and listening to it another 200 times.
Yeah.
You know, so honestly, that's the only thing is definitely there's credit where there's due up here. There's a lot of talent, but that time shouldn't go unnoticed for those artists.
Yeah.
For sure. But
You got some closing thoughts?
No, everyone's special. Just keep grinding. It doesn't get any easier, it just gets harder. But that's it. Just keep positive. Don't get negative and don't let your ego get too big. You know? That's it. That's all there is.
That background must have looked beautiful the whole time.
Facts.